Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, it is the 100% Humboldt podcast with your host, Scott Hammond, and my new best friend, Debra Garnes.
Hiya.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm great.
And your tag says Mayor of Rio Dell.
Yes.
I like it.
All right.
I was going to say, it looks like you're a doctor, the doctor of Rio Dell.
I wish I was. Well, I don't know if I wish I was a doctor.
So tell us, what are your duties? What's your title, and what do you do?
Well, my title is Mayor of the City of Rio Dell, and basically, I'm kind of the face of Rio Dell, and which the mayor would be, and I'm a part of the council. We set the ordinances, the regulations for the City of Rio Dell, and we promote Rio Dell. I try to promote Rio Dell every chance I get,
Right?
And we're just there for our community, doing what we can, trying to raise the image, that's the word, raise the image of Rio Dell and kind of elevate us to a point where we're not forgotten and we're not thought of in a negative way.
And you're not finished. You're just starting.
Yeah.
I like it. No, I love it. How big is Rio Dell?
There's people-wise about 3,500.
Okay. So it's pretty small. It's bigger. It's smaller than McKinleyville.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wait, I'm going to jump into my map right away. I never get to do this early in my show. Over here, Nick. Whoa, get my cords all. Okay. So Rio Dell sits right over here, just south of Fortuna on the Eel River.
On the Eel River.
Which is in Humboldt County, which is in California, it turns out.
Yes, and it is just across from what was one of the last company towns in America, Scotia. And the bridge between us is the shortest unmarked bridge in the state of California.
Wow. What does unmarked mean?
It means it isn't like a highway sign that's, it's kind of like a business loop as far as getting off the highway and getting to Rio Dell from the southern direction or the southern end. Right. But it just doesn't have the big, highway marker.
Or all the stuff.
And all the stuff.
And a name. Does it have a name? I wonder if there's
It's the Eagle Prairie Bridge.
Oh, wow. Go figure. Okay. Yeah, so I think you've elevated Rio Dell. What little I know, and I know you're going to tell us more, you guys have been elevating pretty hardcore of late. So
we're trying.
So good job. I liked what I put. I pulled this up. I cheat on this a little bit. So my AI report says mayor's responsibilities: preside over city councils. I imagine.
Absolutely.
You represent the city in official capacities. And we'll talk about that because I know you were You were appointed by Gavin Newsom. Hopefully he hasn't reported you.
Yeah, hopefully not.
And then policy making. So you're part of that.
That body.
And that number 4, community engagement, which is, I think, wonderful for small town America. So tell us about the Deborah story. Where'd you come from? Give us the long version.
The short version, the long version.
Give me the long one.
Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan.
Wow.
Went to Northern Michigan University in Marquette, Michigan. I came home when my father passed away when I was 19. And so I came back home, hung out with my mom for a bit, and then I joined the Navy.
Wow.
I went to Pearl Harbor is where I was stationed on a ship.
Wow.
For 4 years. We got to go, we did a couple Westpacks. So went as far as Madagascar to the west of Hawaii. Yes.
Rad, yeah.
So Madagascar and Las Comoras. And we went to Japan and a little ways into China. And a little ways into India. And then after my stint in the Navy, moved to Sacramento. I worked for Sacramento Municipal Utility District, otherwise known as SMUD.
Know those guys?
I worked as a contractor for 2 years, I think, and then I got hired on at SMUD. So I worked there for 15 years. SMUD's a great company, so you can go there was one person you can always use as an example of how great a company SMUD is. He went from utility clerk to AGM,
Wow.
assistant general manager.
Wow.
He might have gone to GM, actually. Yeah, I think he did actually go to GM.
Wow.
So SMUD is that kind of company where you can promote from within.
And grow.
To that end, that's kind of what I did. I started out just as a office person,
Mm-hmm.
and then they paid for my schooling. I went to school. I went to UC Berkeley Extension to get qualified as lead and asbestos, every discipline in those categories.
Mm-hmm.
And then they allowed me to move up. Then they to a position where I was actually working with engineers to when we were going into decommissioning.
Mm-hmm.
And decommissioning the cooling towers and getting rid of the asbestos and working with the engineers to get that done.
Mm-hmm.
Then back to school I went to get qualified as a hazardous material specialist, which SMUD paid for.
How nice.
And then they allowed me then to move into the hazardous materials field.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I was. That's how I finished my career at SMUD. It was a hazardous materials tech.
Then came up here?
And then, yes. And so we owned an espresso bar, Elizabeth and I owned an espresso bar. And we sold that.
Mm-hmm.
Two of our customers, Pat and Bruce, owned property in Xenia, 100 acres and a cabin.
Where?
You're right.
Let me show you where that is.
Yeah, show where so Xenia is. If you're in Garberville, you go to Alder Point. You keep going past Alder
It's
Point.
over there on the right. To your right.
And then you get past Alder Point, and you get to Xenia before you get to Kettenpalm.
I bet it's pretty out there.
It's beautiful out there.
I bet Xenia's cool.
It was very, it's very, not a lot of people, but very, very cool. And it was 100 acres. I think there were 5 or 6 waterfalls. They couldn't be there during the week because Pat was still working. Mm-hmm. So I had some health issues, had to leave SMUD. That's why I left SMUD, because I had health issues that made me have to leave. Mm-hmm. And I could no longer do my job. It needed to be clearer. It was I became the hazard versus, I couldn't hold on to things. So I had to leave. So we had visited them so many times and learned their entire off-grid system.
Nice.
And so they offered to let us be there.
Wow.
Because we were wanting to move to Humboldt, but it was too difficult to go from Sacramento to Humboldt to find a place to live.
Wow.
So we lived there for about 11 months.
On the land.
On the land.
Rad.
Off-grid. It was an amazing, amazing experience.
Nice.
And from there, we started, we would come into Humboldt on a regular basis, look around, look for some home to purchase. And then finally,
let me guess.
Actually, we found one in Rio Dell.
I was going to say, the answer is Rio Dell.
The answer, we drive by one-on-one going, wonder what they do in that town, wonder what they do in that town.
Let's go check it out.
Let's go check it out. And we did, and we found a beautiful home, and with the view of the bluffs. I think we got the last home before the pendulum swung up to ridiculous prices.
Crazy. What year was that?
2003.
03. So you've been here a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's pretty much.
Homeowner to mayor.
Yeah.
pretty good. That's kind of a SMUD thing.
Yeah, right. I was on the council for 6 years, I think, before I became mayor. So
nice. So you served first. Let's go back to Detroit.
Okay.
So Detroit has Motown. It's got rock and roll. Did you grow up with all that music?
I did.
Culture and all that happening?
Yeah, I did. I grew up with all of that. My brother was, in a musical group, and he was friends. Like, for example, one day I'm with him in his car. He pulls up and stops and is talking to this guy, and it's Smokey Robinson. who
Of course, yes.
before he was apparently Smokey Robinson. I mean, like really, truly Smokey Robinson.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I grew up in that culture. I grew up around my brothers always, doing the group thing, and it was interesting. I was, pretty. I don't know if sheltered is the word, but I wasn't out and about doing crazy things,
Sure.
so I don't think I experienced as much of Detroit as people think when they think
Sure.
you're from Detroit.
Yeah. Definitely got the music scene, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Music
And
and
then-
church.
And church,
And
yeah.
church music.
Lots of church. Aretha.
Right.
Yeah. She started church like a lot of people.
Right.
So the Navy, so you went on how many? 2 Westpacks?
Mhm.
3?
Two
Nice. How many
Westpacks,
years?
and then a nice long trip to Long Beach.
Nice. Yeah. Big harbor there.
Yeah.
I'm from San Diego, so I understand
okay.
Navy.
Yeah.
We used to drink beer with all the Navy guys.
Okay.
Before we were 21, if you could believe that. So how many years of the Navy?
Just 4,
Okay.
which is enough.
Thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
It was absolutely. I think everyone should. I almost think everyone should have to do it, but that seems a bit extreme. But I think you grow up so much, you learn so much, you see so much. It expands your mind
Big
because you see different cultures, different ways of life, and you see 2 things: the difference in cultures and the sameness in cultures.
It's good. I like it.
And so it really, I think it's an experience that I am very thankful that I had.
Nice. We have a son and we have 9 kids. Our second oldest is in Amsterdam.
Oh,
in
wow, nice.
Utrecht. I got to say it right. And going back there twice now, it's a trip going on mass transit. Everything's rail.
Oh, yeah.
And the people are all beautiful and tall and very ostensibly unfriendly. They're very focused in, but as soon as you engage somebody, they're pretty warm. And Belgium is different and a little the same. But yeah, you find the similarities and the differences. So what did you study at the university?
Accounting.
Okay.
Yeah, it was boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was easy to let go.
I like that. That was easy to release that. And then, so in the Navy, what was your field there?
Well, I was a gunner's mate.
Okay.
I was a gunner's mate, guns.
Wow. So ordnance and
yes,
all that?
yes.
Huh.
Fun stuff.
Well, you've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
on the land,
That's right.
guns, accounting, hazmat.
Yes.
Jack of all trades.
I know. I finally did. I settled on hazmat, and when I look back, I could have made some different decisions. I tested to go into the Navy. I tested to be a crypto.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
But I was going to have to wait 6 months. And my young brain said, you're going to change your mind in 6 months and there's not going to be any way out of it.
You're
so
stuck,
so then I was like, I'm just going to go in.
So crypto is code breaking? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that would have been super fun.
Yeah.
But I knew that in 6 months, I would have wanted to do something that wasn't, the Navy.
Yeah.
At least I believe that.
So what year was that you were in the Navy?
From
Years?
81 to 85.
Okay. So we're the similar age then. Yeah. Go figure. 49?
Right.
Or 50? Hey, Nick's turning 25 here pretty soon.
All right.
He's very young. Anyway, so Nick is my 4th wall or the 5th wall. I just talk over that way. People think there's a guy. Anyway, so no, that's exciting. So the Navy, and then you're back at SMUD. Did you live right in Sac?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I lived I started out in West Sac, actually.
Okay.
And I lived there for 6 or 7. No, I started out in Sacramento, then moved to West Sac, then moved back to Sacramento. And I finished living in Sacramento.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
West Sac, that's got the IKEA store.
It does. It wasn't there when I was there.
Yeah. Huge.
West Sacramento now it's amazing what they've
Developed,
done.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's cleaned up. I mean,
Was it pretty dirty at one point?
it was pretty out away from the highway. It was nice. It was actually very pretty as you get towards the river. But when we're in the closer to the highway, it was the road of 1,000 motel rooms.
Right.
It was and that was kind of the
that
slogan.
road.
Yeah. So and it was that kind of attitude and environment. But
Demographic.
oh my goodness, yeah, they have. I mean, it's really been built up, very, very developed, and a lot of money has actually been put into West Sac.
That's a big area too.
It is.
I had no idea.
It is.
So give us the arc of your story in terms of buying the house in 2003, moving into town, off the land.
Yeah, I'm back on the land.
Wearing shoes.
Exactly. Hey, garbage pickup. Let me tell you, that's the big thing.
Yeah, right.
Once you've lived off grid and you have to, every time you go visit someone, you're showing up with a bag of garbage. You are happy.
It's like luxury now.
Yes, like you are so happy to see the garbage man.
I love our garbage bin. We live up in McKinleyville, so we got a big giant garbage bin. We fill it up, and then we have a big recycle
bin.
I love it, man.
I
they
do
just
too.
make it go away.
Exactly.
This is great. And I can hit a button and the heat comes onto my house.
Right.
Who knew?
Off grid, okay. They had propane heat.
Oh, that's
so we
cool.
could actually have propane heat. We had to have a generator to have anything like the washing machine.
Right.
But
you didn't have chopped wood all the time.
No, well, you just bought it.
Sure.
You pretty much, because the propane heater was a wall heater that only heated a smaller area.
Sure.
So definitely we had to buy wood.
Some wood heat.
Yeah, we'd have it delivered.
Did you grow your own food?
No.
Well,
actually, that's not true. We grew some of it, not all of it, but yes, there was a big garden.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It gets warm enough up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about 2003, and then further, you served on the council, and your arrival to Rio Dell in the next 15 years. What transpired, and how did you become mayor?
We got to Rio Dell. A small town. My favorite, one of my favorite shows where you can always learn a life lesson is Andy Griffith. So I was like, I'm going to go to those town meetings. So I go to the city council meetings.
Party 5?
Right.
Ron Howard's there.
And go there. And there was some, I disagree with some things. And I had said, if anyone ever wants me to run, I'll run, or something to that effect. And then then the election came around. Someone asked me, I believe I should be as good as my word. I wasn't thinking I was going to run, but I said I would. So I did.
Nice.
And
did you win?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not win. And so I just kind of let that go and just kept going with my life. I don't even remember what I was doing. Because of my health, I was not working. But I was, doing things around the house. We make stained glass. So we made stained glass. Elizabeth worked at the school and that kind of thing. But I just kind of, I don't know, meandered through life, did whatever I was doing. And there's no great story and no great mystery. I was just
living in Rio Dell.
I was just living in Rio Dell.
So what was Rio Dell like then? Because it has that whole reputation in the past of what word would you use, Nick? Nick just gave us that.
Yes. Well, I can say that I took a class at CR. That's what I did. I went to a lot of school.
Okay.
I went to school.
More school.
Yes. And in my class, you know how you introduce yourself. It kind of goes around. Everyone introduces themselves. Sure. And so I did. And I said where I was from. And so in 2003, I was 43. And this young man's probably 19. When it got to his turn, he goes, wow, my mother never let me go to Rio Dell. She said, never go there. And I was like, wow, that's rude. He
was serious, though.
He was serious.
He wasn't even joking.
I know, right? So, but what I never found it was never bad around me.
Right.
I should. That's the one thing I can say is that
Sure.
I remember even saying one time was like, I just want to say that I love it here, just in case something goes wrong.
Nice.
I just want to be on record
Up
as
to this
saying,
point, it's been great.
it has been great, and I love it here.
Huh.
And it has always been great. When you get somewhere and you wonder, like, are people, why are they looking at you like this? Or why are they not as, responsive as you think?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because of this or that? What I discovered is it's because I was an outsider. It didn't seem to be because of anything else. And my neighbor, like literally the next door neighbor, we were unpacking and he came over. His name was Freddie, and he just like, come on, slaps you on the back and tells you to come on. He takes
Nice.
takes us into his home. He shows us. I probably lived 10 years next to my neighbor in Sacramento, never got in their home.
Never even met him. Who are they?
So, yeah. So, to me, it was always, people were always friendly to me.
Mm-hmm.
People were always nice, the majority of people. And the people who were standoffish, I just think it was because I was a stranger. I don't think it was because, new to town.
Yeah.
And so I just went through that. I re-engaged with, the city council kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
I re-engaged with the planning commission and the city council, and there were seats coming open, and I kind of, I don't want to say got conned into it, but I it was just kind of some things that were said that I don't know if it was ego massaging. I don't know, like, you'd be really good at this.
You
and
probably
blah,
would really
blah,
kill
blah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're listening, and there were seats that there was no one wanting to fill them in that moment. And I think I remember there were 2 women on the council, and both were stepping away, and they were like, there won't be any women on the council. You
Help us
got
out.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Look it up here.
Yeah. So I did, and I was successful, and I got on the council, and so
Wow.
from that point, that was 2014, that election, and from that point forward, I've just been doing everything that I could do to help better the city.
Involved.
Try and be involved.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And I understand things are better. So quantify that for us. So things economically
things are better. We're in a
Main Street looks better.
Yeah, Main Street. We have, we've applied for grants that we've gotten. We've, really our city manager, and he's very focused on what's out there so that we can bring things to Rio Dell or bring money for improvement. So we've gotten the Clean California grant, which redid our Main Street with trees. We had over 100 cherry trees that should be blossoming next year. And we have we also the Clean California grant. We got the Eel River Trail. It's going in, and that's going to be from Davis to Edwards along the Eel River, and it'll have little monuments telling you about the fish and that kind of things. It's non-motorized. And
does that hook up to the trail coming in from Fortuna in that sense?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. It really is pretty Rio Dell specific, but we're hoping with Great Redwood Trail, that's the goal, is to hook us into all of that.
All the puzzle pieces.
Absolutely.
And rumor has it you're on the board of the Great Redwood Trail.
I have been appointed to the Great Redwood Trail Board. My first meeting will be next Thursday.
Congrats.
So I'm very, very excited.
So many people are excited
super excited about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And somebody said in another podcast interview that he probably wouldn't be around to see it finish, but he was pretty glad to get it started.
Absolutely.
And I'm going, that's big vision right there.
That is a huge vision.
Yeah. So it's going to go all the way from, say, Willits, all the way through the Eel River Canyon, which was all
right. And actually Sonoma. It's going to go.
Oh, it's going to go all the way.
Yeah, it's going to go all the way from Marin up.
Rad.
Yeah.
So Appalachian Trail, look out.
Yeah, it's going to be 307 miles.
Pacific Crest Trail.
Right.
Get out of here. We got the Redwood Trail. Great Redwood Trail.
Great Redwood Trail.
That's going to be cool.
And it'll go back inside the mountains where the Eel River, if you were to follow the Eel River, and just some of the most beautiful
that rail bed.
sections. Yeah, it's going to follow the rail. So
yeah,
it'll be beautiful.
Yeah. I'd love to have a rail, but it's romantic.
Right.
And all that, but it just doesn't, they finally got that section from the Skunk Train, right? They were trying to do that. Maybe if I get my story right, I'd be okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know that.
There's a company that wanted.
Skunk Train, that was trying to get.
Skunk's got their own thing.
Right. They have their own thing.
And they're great.
But they're trying, but just following the actual commercial rail line.
Right.
And, in order to restore the rail, it would take more money than I think we have even as a country.
And then it would slide out again.
And then it would slide out. So this is just an opportunity that Senator McGuire really fought hard for.
Mr. Energy, man.
Oh my goodness. He has got so much energy. He's like a whirling dervish. I mean, he is just
he's
like
a wild
on.
Hands up.
Right.
Shout out to Senator McGuire.
Right. Absolutely.
I've seen him do so many events. It's like,
yeah,
dude, how many Red Bulls did you drink? It's like, we got to get him on the show. Have you had him on your show?
Absolutely. You should have him on the show. He's great.
It'd be great.
He was just here in Rio Dell last month with the big $12 million check for our water system, to redo our water system. So
the whole thing.
To get a new tank, big gigantic, 350 gallon.
Did he secure that money himself? He helped.
He helped.
He presented the check. Smart guy.
Right. No,
Mr. McGuire.
He helped push it through. We had applied. It was a grant. We had applied for the grant, and we had been told we were getting it, and then, but things just go so slow, so slowly, and then we had the earthquake, and after the earthquake,
let's talk about that.
What's the bridge? It starts with a G. Ghilarducci. I don't get in trouble there.
Yeah. Don't forget the name.
And he was at the time, he was the director of OES. Between him and Senator McGuire, they just helped to push it
and fix it
over the hump where we've just been waiting and waiting and waiting.
That's cool.
So yeah.
So what year was the earthquake?
22.
Wow.
December 22nd, 22, and then January 1st, 23.
Right.
Yeah, those were the two that did the most damage to Rio Dell in a long, long time.
Houses off the foundations and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know Jonathan and his wife? He's the fence doctor. Big guy.
Okay, I don't know if I know.
I'm going to think of his last name. They might be your neighbors. They live down Rio Dell.
Yeah, okay.
They have 10 kids. We only have 9. They're doing great.
How did you?
Jonathan Welsh.
Okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
Sarah.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. She's got red hair, and he's a real big guy. Yeah, they're local. But so all the earthquake happened, and you were there. And so what happened? Were there any injuries?
There were a few injuries. There were a couple deaths that they cannot directly tie. It wasn't like something fell on them. Had
a heart attack.
A heart attack. Yes. So you don't know if that was going to happen, and it just had coincided. But it was the third most acceleration in the history of the state of California. And that was the power that came through, and it did the whole town. It hurt the whole town, but there was one section where it just really devastated those homes even more. And it came out of Ferndale, so it was more the north end of town. And then on January 1st, the one that hit came out of Redcrest, and it just kind of not destroyed, but really hurt the south end of town.
Wow.
I live on the south end of town. It's horrible as the December 22nd one was, and everything breaking. The one on the 1st of January, in my home, so at the south side of town, it moved the refrigerator, threw things out of the refrigerator, out of the cabinets, off the. I mean, just cracks in our foundation, cracks in our walls. We had a rental that's about a few blocks. Well, it's probably a quarter mile away in Rio Dell, though, and the porch came down, the toilet got cracked, the heater came off the wall.
So it just jolts.
So it was just interesting. It was a lower magnitude, the one on the 1st, but because of where we were sitting, it was physically more damaging than the one on the 22nd, but the north end of town took it.
Wow.
On the 22nd.
We've had Lori Dengler in here talking about earthquakes.
Man, she's amazing.
She's really cool. Yeah. She's got so much.
She has got so much information in that
embedded knowledge.
Wow.
Yeah, no, she's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So what was the dollar amount of damage and how many homes? And
probably about 52, I think ultimately about $52 million.
Wow.
Sadly, $65 million is FEMA's threshold. So we got no federal help. We had 96 or 98, I can't remember now, red tagged homes.
Wow.
But within those, there were 2 multi-unit structures.
Oh.
So I shouldn't say homes, I should say residences, right? That were red tagged. And we had just a ton of yellow tags and even the green tags that people were like, oh, are you green tagged? My house was green tagged and I had a cracked foundation. You still have dollars that, have to go out. But the community was amazing. It was like you were in a bear hug. It was just like you see on the news when someone says, there was a flood or a fire and the community just came together. And it was amazing to see. I mean, McKinleyville, Trinidad, McKinleyville, Arcata, Eureka, Fortuna, Ferndale, everyone, Garberville, everyone came to our aid. As far as Willow Creek, Redding, Paradise. Paradise brought mattresses.
Is that right?
We had water coming from Texas. We had people coming from Windsor with trucks.
Wow.
Windsor, California.
Sure.
We had inspectors come up over Christmas. They were working away from their Southern Cal and their not Las Vegas, but Nevada region coming in to help us that we could during the holidays.
Wow.
I mean, it was just really amazing, and it really did feel like just this hug from everyone around you that they didn't know you from Adam,
right? But
they were there to help.
Shout out to the huggers.
Yes, absolutely, an absolute shout out to them.
So, did people live in gymnasiums and schools and all, or
well, we have the school, and the school was actually damaged, so it was red tagged.
That's
the gymnasium. Yeah. So Fortuna, shout out to Fortuna, opened up their the skating rink. And that was a congregate shelter.
They're in the park?
They're in Roner Park. So, and then the county, they not only gave us money, but they also put money in a pot to help. They also provided dollars to put people into hotel rooms that were red tagged.
Was Estelle the supervisor?
No, Michelle was by that point.
Michelle was, okay.
And Michelle was amazing.
She stepped up?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, she really did. And if you ever want someone on your side that's like, that's Michelle.
That's her.
She does not like to take anything. Yeah, she's not taking it. She's gonna fight, and she's gonna be heard.
She fought for you all.
She absolutely did.
Good job, Michelle.
She showed up. I mean, she showed up before I showed up, I think, and she does live there. She was there on the spot, and so was Rex Bone. Nice. Once he realized it didn't affect Ferndale the way it affected Rio Dell, he came down. So, yeah, it was just everyone.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Then it was beyond party lines. It was just everybody hugging,
exactly
helping.
Yeah, and
Love it.
And the board of supervisors, they stood by us. So it was really for a horrific event.
Mm-hmm.
The response was amazing.
I love it.
You know, OES, Ryan Derby, Sheriff Hansel, they were all there.
Billy's cool.
Yeah, they all showed up for us.
Yeah,
and
that's
and
nice.
stood by us through it. I mean, there were meetings. There were, they stood up. Well, I can't remember the name of it now, but a little thing where people could go in and go from table to table to table to get help in whatever areas that they needed help in.
That's neat.
Yeah, so it was a community response.
So sort of a disaster relief tent event.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the World Kitchen came. The World Kitchen was there from, I think, the 23rd of December until February. I think the 1st of February.
They just feed families all day long?
They fed lunch and dinner.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And we had a volunteer group, which I was a part of, that we had started during COVID. And we took the meals to the people who couldn't get, seniors, disabled, whoever couldn't get there, they just had to let us know. We had a list from COVID times. So we just got that list, and then anyone else who needed to be added to it, we would take the meals to them.
I love that part of the love.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the folks that can't make it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So, hey, the fun part of the show, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here goes. Nick goes, oh no.
Not the speed round.
What's he going to do? He already knows what I'm going to do. So this is the part of the show where there's fabulous prizes.
All right.
And
love prizes.
Kind of your favorite stuff about Humboldt. What do you like? So, and it could be anything. I'll just start it out with what do you like about Humboldt County? I'll give you the general question, then I'll go into the quiz.
Well, the thing I love the most about Humboldt County is the nature, the beauty, and the ability to get into the forest and just be able to breathe that area, to be able to get to the ocean, to be able to go to a river that's beautiful. And nature is the thing I love the most about Humboldt County.
Yeah. Yeah, we live about 5 minutes from the airport, so we could just go up to Scenic Drive and throw that van open and have a picnic. There's Trinidad Head, the ocean, and
beautiful.
It's like
exactly
date night that's very inexpensive.
Like
Score. This is great. Okay, question number 1. You can eat anywhere you want to eat in Humboldt County. Where do you go to eat?
Gabriel's.
Gabriel's. Okay.
They have some killer 5-pepper shrimp.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And you've traveled the world, so you would have perspective. I thought you were going to say CK Market because it's
CC Market?
CC.
Yeah, well, CC Market, if I was going to go I was thinking going out to dinner, not going to pick up dinner.
So if you're going to go in Rio Dell, that's where you'd go, baby.
Yeah, either CC or Patron's and Letty's, the 2 good Mexican foods.
Okay, those are both Mexican. Let's go. I'll circle back to what's happening in Rio Dell in just a sec because I want to know about that. The CC, man, he's been Mr. Tritip at every banquet, every catering event, man.
Absolutely. They catered we hosted the League of California Cities division meeting in July or May. May.
He catered it?
They catered and it
good?
was good.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
and so much. I mean, there was so much food of different varieties.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
They are good.
He's a nice guy. He's done a lot of events.
Yeah. Wally and Sandra, it's
Wally, yeah.
Yeah, they're great people.
That's cool. Okay, question 2. If you got to go hiking today, where would you take a hike?
Well, the Unmarked Trail or Swimmer's Delight.
Oh,
2 of my favorites.
Where's unmarked? It's unmarked.
It's on the Avenue of the exactly. It's on the Avenue of the Giants, but it isn't like when you look through the book. There's no name of it, so we just call it the Unmarked Trail. It goes down to the river. You walk across. It's where the Star Grove and the Wentworth Groves are.
Okay.
And
is that close to say Burlington, the campground there? Or?
It's north of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like exit 667.
Okay.
Somewhere right, just
The
south
unmarked.
of Red.
It sounds like a secret.
South. I know. That's why
I like
I
it.
don't want to tell you exactly.
Yeah.
But it's south of.
Joni, note that. My wife's a hiker. She'll figure that. She's working on that one right now.
Okay. South of Red Crest.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, Bull Creek is beautiful. There's so, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Where do you start?
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the businesses in Rio Dell. Let's cycle back to that. So food-wise, we got CC.
We have CC Market if you want. Now Wally and Sandra retired.
He's retired.
Mm-hmm. But there is still the food section, and they still cater.
Mm-hmm.
But there's DJ's Burgers, great burgers, Shots Coffee, Espresso Bar.
Right.
Is there. Letty's Mexican, Patron's Mexican.
And those are trucks
food.
or are they actual?
No, those are actual sit-down
locations.
restaurants.
Okay.
And then there's a new sandwich shop inside of Route 101.
Okay.
And they make different sandwiches every day, specialty. Excuse me. And so I think those are the food places. I'm going to be in trouble if I forget one, but that's
fine.
The pizza
that's
factory
right.
closed, and
he was there a long time.
He was, and that was a great loss.
Yeah.
But and there's a Pakistani restaurant.
No way.
I don't know the name of. But the food looks really good, and it's on the corner of Monument and Wildwood.
Wow, Pakistani food.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Makes me think of the Seinfeld episode. My mind's already out there. But yeah, that sounds good. I would drive for Pakistani.
Yeah.
Why not?
To get down there.
And there's Creation Auto Body with
Absolutely.
Kevin.
Creations they've done well. He has done well, I would say.
He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. And so we have, other small, we have a liquor store. We have, we have 2 cannabis dispensaries.
Right.
Element 7 and Proper Wellness.
I thought I read
Proper Wellness is really, they're doing really well.
I thought I read that you guys are doing good around the cannabis industry there, and I don't remember the context. So you got 2 dispensaries that are doing okay.
Yeah, the dispensaries are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have just north of the North Bridge, there is basically a farm indoor grow that is very successful. And I think there's a few more, all of anything that has to do with cultivation has to be outside of the city proper, right? So you have Up Monument, you have north of the bridge, which we designated that it's industrially zoned, and we're hoping more businesses get in there because we designated it as a business park.
Gotcha.
But we need more businesses in there.
More than just cannabis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or it can all be cannabis, but we just need the space
some more
filled
business.
up. Yes, we need the space filled up.
Gotcha. So you ascended then from in the council to mayor. So is that a rotation, or do you get elected specifically as
you get
the mayor job?
And you don't get. It's not direct elect. It is you're elected by the council, and so it's your fellow council members who elect you or select you.
Gotcha.
As mayor.
Gotcha. And how long are you mayor for?
2 years at a time, and then every 2 years after the election, then they reelect a mayor.
How much do you have left in your term?
Well, it'll come up my term or my mayor part.
Sure.
Okay, so because you're elected as a council person,
right? First,
right. So my term expires in 2026.
Okay.
And the next election for mayor will be in December of this year after the general election.
Can you repeat? Oh, okay. Are you going to run? Well, or do you put your hat in?
I put my hat in, absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. You're ready to serve. Yeah. I love it. Good job.
Yeah.
So you've been appointed to a couple things here. So Gavin Newsom appointed you to the Seismic Safety Commission.
I am a safety commissioner. I'm the vice chair.
What's that about?
It's about making the state and the citizens of the state earthquake resilient. Figuring, just revising, for example, the building codes, the commercial building codes. There's a project right now where there's, this probably doesn't sound good because I can't remember which university. I think it is USC, but it could be UCLA.
Okay.
One of those two.
Close
down in, yeah.
It's all LA.
Yeah, right.
It's down there.
Down there. They're working with the Seismic Commission to build a shake table, which is going to be this kind of a big building, and it will show you how materials that you use in buildings, how they react, so that you can then decide decisions, I should say, can be made on what materials are best in an earthquake kind of environment that we live in.
So they can kind of model an environment and shake it and see what it does.
Right.
That's cool.
And that way, we in the building codes, things can be designed so that once everything's in place and now we know certain information that we didn't know, we can make buildings more resilient. We can make people's pretty much their lives, because you're going to be in a building of some sort, a home or a commercial building, more resilient and very as sound as possible.
And safe. Yeah.
As sound and safe as possible.
Love it.
Yeah.
So California League of Cities, is that also you're on?
Yes.
On that? And you brought them up
Cities
here for their division
meeting.
What are they about? What do they do?
They lobby for cities for local control. It's one of the more important groups, I would think, in all of the groups with regard to just, if you're looking at politics, you're looking at policy and how ordinances, rules, regulations, the whole deal. They lobby for cities and towns and everyone to have local control, so that the state can't come in and say, you have to do it this way. Let us, because it's not cookie cutter. Everyone is different. Every community is different.
Sure.
The needs are different. And so basically Cal Cities fights for us to be able to look at our own cities and design them, model them, make the laws and ordinances around them such that we can govern and we can control what happens versus the state telling us what to do, because there's a big difference between LA and Rio Dell.
And Arcata and Trinidad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're on TV once in a while on Access Humboldt, right?
Every now and again.
Yeah. Because they cover that meeting too, right?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I love it. Well, cool. I love it. So you're and then we did mention it. You're on the board of the Great Redwood Trail.
Yes.
Wow. That's got to be kind of prestigious.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
I'm excited about
that.
Yeah.
Man. That's going to be fun.
I know. One of the things that, if you look back, Rio Dell gets forgotten a lot, or they used to get forgotten a lot, I should say. And if they weren't forgotten, they weren't thought of in a positive way.
Right.
But Rio Dell is, we're changing that. We're not even we are changing that image. And we are elevating ourselves, and we want to be a part of Humboldt. We don't want to be an afterthought.
Yeah.
And so being on this board, and we're one of the cities on the trail. The rail goes by us.
Yeah.
And so we don't want to be forgotten or left behind and thought of at we got this gap.
Yeah.
And so being on that board means so much to me.
Yeah.
And I hope to my community, so such that we're at the table,
Yeah.
And I think if one of the things that Cal City says more than anything, if you're not at the table, you're on the table.
You're on
So
I like that
you're
one.
the dinner.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like
So,
that. And my guess is that you'll advocate for all the other small communities that are going to be
absolutely.
part of this thing.
Absolutely.
And there's probably dozens of them along the trail, right?
Yes.
That have no idea or have no leadership or have a gap in whatever.
Right. And because there's a lot of, and then there's a lot of places that are difficult. Rio Dell is actually one of the places that is difficult. If you look, the rails on the bluff.
It's on the other side. Yeah.
Right. And that rail, it would take a whole lot to get that stabilized and,
and put a trail
usable.
on it. Yeah.
So, you come across the bridge from Scotia, then you just go down Edwards to our trail.
Yeah. And
you follow our trail and you come up and, you figure out how to get it to connect it to Fortuna.
Get that Pakistani food going. CC Market.
Right.
That Tritip. Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what's your vision for the city going forward and the region? What would you like to see happen?
I would like for Rio Dell to get to a point where we are just strong and self-sufficient with regard to business taxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things about Rio Dell. We're a bedroom community.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a lot of businesses that pretty much besides Shell Station, Dollar General, those are two high tax, businesses, or revenue businesses, but we don't have a lot. Mm-hmm. So we cannot compete the same way, let's say Fortuna competes. Mm-hmm. And we have an issue with our land, having the land, the ability to do commercial business. Cal Fire recently bought a big chunk of probably 75% of our commercial available land.
Wow.
And so, we're nervous about that.
What are they going to do with it?
They're going to put a headquarters. You love Cal Fire. Yep. You love working with them. We're happy to have them. We are really hoping, with our fingers crossed, that they share a little bit of that land with us because it is 75% of our commercial land.
Yeah.
But we do welcome them. And we are, we could become the Cal Fire, home of Cal Fire.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that tax revenue generating though?
No, and that's
not like a Home Depot.
Exactly, yeah. And that's anything or anything. A mom and pop store. It is not tax revenue. It is not revenue generating. So that's why we're so hopeful that they will share some of that land with us.
Hear that, Cal Fire?
Yeah.
So Deborah, do you have space for like a Trader Joe's or a?
We do. We have space for.
How about a Depot or a Walmart?
We have space. I don't know that we can convince anyone that they should be here. I think everyone in Humboldt has tried to convince Trader Joe's.
Sure.
And
good luck on that.
I know. If we could get Trader Joe's here, because of course, then you would have people coming from north, south.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up to Rio Dell. Then you'd have people eating at our restaurants, and then we'd have. So that would be fantastic. I don't know that any other big giant store would come to Rio Dell, just because it's somewhat isolated.
Yeah.
But it is also right on the main thoroughfare. It is 101.
It's 8 minutes from Fortuna, right?
Yeah.
6 minutes. Yeah.
I told HTA because they have an express route now. And they were like, but we go past Rio Dell. And we're like, okay, Rio Dell is 101. Okay.
Right.
You could just get off, someone could jump on, and you're right back on. You don't even have to make a turn, really.
That's true.
And so that's what I try every chance I get to, say that.
Did they say
them.
yes?
It's like, no, they didn't. But they said they heard me.
They'll look at it.
They
Come
heard
back.
me. Yeah. And I appreciate that.
So I'm in sales, so no means maybe later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that we don't know the word no.
Exactly.
What's that word? So last questions. And I come as a group of questions. What's your legacy? What do you want them to write on your tombstone? What are we going to say at your eulogy?
Well,
what would you like us to say?
We should say that She was really fun and really happy and loved to smile and loved to make people happy. After that, you know, it was, I can't remember his name, but anyway, one thing he used to be, he worked at Wells Fargo, but one of the points that he made to me was, you always want to leave your community better than you found it. And that became the thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to leave Rio Dell better than I found it. And if those words could be on my tombstone, she left Rio Dell better than she found it.
I like it.
And she was really a happy, cheerful person who liked to make people laugh.
I'm smiling.
Smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Then I would be good.
That's good. I love that. Deborah, thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you being here on kind of short notice, too.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Hey, want to hear more, and we'll keep our eye on Rio Dell.
Okay.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks again. Have a great day.
You too.